Hey, friends, and welcome to another Mortisect Spotlight. Today, we have a scene that I like to call Car Ride to the Grandparents. This one is from Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker, 1981, starring Jimmy McNichol, Susan Tyrrell, a very young Bill Paxton, Bo Svensson, which you will remember from another Mortisect Spotlight, Snow Beast, and Julia Duffy. With most scenes that I pick, they tend to be towards the middle or the end. With this one, it's right in the beginning because it starts off. You see a woman coming downstairs. She's kissing her sister goodbye. And you see the sister with this young boy, this blonde headed boy. And she's doing like the kitty voice.
Mommy and Daddy are going over the mountains all the way to the Pacific coast to see Grandma and Grandpa.
She's like, all right, she's one of these types of doting aunts. But little do we know, there's something a lot more terrible about this aunt. This is a woman who does in her sister and husband to keep their child. We find out a lot of other horrific things that she's done. She's not above murder. And I would say this, if I was Freud looking at this, I would say there's definitely an Oedipus Rex vibe in regards to the relationship between the aunt and how she looks at her nephew. So we see her waving to the child's parents. Then all of a sudden, there's a freezing moment, freezes on her face. And then there's like this rattlesnake sound that comes out. And in other movies that I've heard this sound, anytime there's a rattlesnake sound, you know this is not good. So, cut to the parents are driving down the road. They're looking at pictures of Billy, saying how cute he looks in this hat, and it's almost like It is a premonition. They're already showing their hand in this film. You know something bad is going to happen because they're telegraphing it. They're showing this picture of Billy and saying, "Oh, how cute he is," and the dad goes,
I miss him already.
and that just like seals their fate. It seals their fate. We know something bad's going to happen. Next thing, right after he says that, he's tapping on his brake, slamming on it. Brake's no good. No bueno. It's no good. It is not working. They start swerving back and forth. Now, just to rewind a little bit, I would think that you probably would have pressed your brakes well before getting onto the highway because it looked like from that cutscene that they were traveling down that highway for quite some time because the house that they left was somewhere off the beaten path. So they must have been driving for a while. So I would imagine that you would have to at least hit your brake a couple of times before going on the highway that you would have noticed that, uh-oh, the brake line's cut. I've had issues with my brakes where I've had to press all the way down to stop the car. And you say in your head, okay, it's not really safe to drive this car. Let me call up the mechanic, or at least let me pull over and, make my next move. You're not going to keep driving on this cross country trip. You're going to stop. Smart people call AAA or a mechanic. Maybe if you're not too far from the home, you can turn around and take that risk. But I just don't see the feasibility. I understand we have to suspend disbelief to make this film work. Now, fast forwarding, they're swerving on the highway, and you know it's just not ending well. Then all of a sudden, they're right behind a lumber truck where they have all these long um, tree trunks that they just cut down, and out of all the trucks that you want to be behind, that's definitely not the one. So they're driving. All of a sudden, bam, hit right into this truck, piece of lumber, this large piece of tree goes right through the windshield and it hits his head. And it's funny because it doesn't look realistic, but even if it doesn't look realistic, it's horrific because you're imagining, oh my gosh, this guy just got hit with a tree trunk and his head is folding to the back of his neck. It almost reminded me very much of Death Proof, which was the Grindhouse film from Quentin Tarantino, and him and Robert Rodriguez did their back-to-back films. for Grindhouse. And in Death Proof, there's the scene where the young lady gets hit by the tire and it's like going right through her face and her head snaps back. It almost reminded me of that. I wonder if Quentin Tarantino is a I wouldn't be surprised if he's a fan of this film and kind of copied this scene or made an homage to this type of horror violence. But guys, what do you think about this scene? Is this a scene worth covering? Is this a scene that you've never seen before? Do you like this movie? Have you seen another scene in this movie that should be seen? Now try saying that 3 times fast. Please tell me what you like about this film. Please like and subscribe. And thank you for coming down the rabbit hole with me, friends.